The morning sun was already hot when Daniel crouched behind the rose bushes, wearing dirty work clothes and a worn cap pulled low over his face. His hands trembled as he held the gardening shears. Through the leaves, he watched his own front door. He had been away for 2 weeks on a business trip, but yesterday he came home early. What he saw made him sick to his stomach. Now, dressed as a gardener at his own mansion, he was about to discover the full truth about his wife Rebecca, and what he would witness today would destroy everything he thought he knew about his life. Before we continue with this shocking story, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and drop a comment about what you are watching from. Your support means everything to me. Now, let's get back to the story. 3 days earlier, Daniel Matthews sat in his first-class seat, flying back from Singapore. The business deal had closed faster than expected. He smiled, thinking about surprising Rebecca. They had been married for 5 years. He was 42, she was 35. He had built a successful tech company from nothing, and now they lived in a beautiful mansion in the hills of Los Angeles. Daniel pulled out his phone and looked at Rebecca's photo. Beautiful blonde hair, bright blue eyes, perfect smile. He had met her at a charity gala 6 years ago. She was working as an event coordinator. Within months, they were married. His best friend Michael had warned him, "Daniel, you barely know her. Maybe slow down." But Daniel hadn't listened. He was in love. Now, 15 hours later, Daniel's car pulled into his circular driveway. It was 2 in the afternoon. The house looked peaceful and quiet. He paid the driver and walked to the front door with his suitcase. He used his key and stepped inside. The marble floor was spotless as always. Fresh flowers sat in the entrance vase. "Rebecca?" he called out. No answer. Daniel walked through the downstairs. The Kit Davis was empty. The living room was quiet. Maybe she was upstairs resting. He climbed the curved staircase, his shoes silent on the thick carpet. As he reached the top, he heard something. Laughter. Rebecca's laughter, coming from their bedroom. Then he heard another voice, a man's voice. Daniel's heart began to pound. He walked slowly down the hallway toward their bedroom door. It was slightly open. "You're so bad," Rebecca's voice said, followed by more laughter. "You love it when I'm bad," the man replied. Daniel pushed the door open wider. Rebecca sat on their bed in a silk robe. Beside her sat Marcus, their driver. They were drinking champagne. Marcus had his hand on Rebecca's knee. They both turned and saw Daniel standing in the doorway. Rebecca's face went white. Marcus jumped up so fast he knocked over his champagne glass. "Daniel," Rebecca gasped. "You're home early." "Clearly," Daniel said, his voice cold and steady despite his racing heart. Marcus grabbed his jacket. "Mr. Matthews, this isn't what it looks like." "Get out," Daniel said quietly. "Sir, I can explain. Get out of my house. Now." Marcus rushed past Daniel and disappeared down the stairs. They heard the front door slam. Rebecca stood up, tying her robe tighter. "Daniel, please, let me explain." "Explain what? Why our driver is in our bedroom? Why you're drinking champagne with him while I'm supposed to be out of the country?" Tears filled Rebecca's eyes. "Nothing happened. We were just talking." "Just talking," Daniel repeated. "On our bed, in your robe, while he touches you." "It's not like that," Rebecca insisted. "Marcus is nice to me. He listens to me. You're always traveling, always working. I get lonely." Daniel stared at his wife. "So this is my fault." "I didn't say that. But Daniel, you're never here. When was the last time we had dinner together? When did we last talk about anything real?" "I'm building a life for us," Daniel said. "Everything I do is for you. I didn't ask for a mansion," Rebecca shot back. "I asked for a husband." Daniel turned and walked out of the room. He couldn't look at her anymore. That night, Daniel slept in one of the guest rooms. Rebecca tried to talk to him twice, but he refused to open the door. By morning, Daniel had made a decision. He couldn't live with doubt. He needed to know the truth. Was this the first time? Was it just talking, or was there more? He called his lawyer, Robert Davis. "I need to know what my wife does when I'm not home," Daniel explained. "Hire a private investigator," Robert suggested. "No, Daniel said. I want to see it myself, with my own eyes. What are you planning? Daniel was quiet for a moment. I'm going to become invisible in my own house. The next morning, Daniel told Rebecca he had to return to Singapore immediately. Another trip? She asked, looking disappointed. You just got back. The deal isn't finished, Daniel lied. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. Rebecca nodded slowly. Okay, I'll miss you. Will you? Daniel asked. She looked hurt. Of course I will. Daniel, about yesterday. I don't want to talk about it right now, he interrupted. I need time to think. He packed a bag and left the house. Rebecca stood at the door watching him go, tears on her cheeks. But Daniel didn't go to the airport. Instead, he drove to Michael's house. You look terrible, Michael said, opening the door. I need your help, Daniel said. Inside, Daniel explained everything. Marcus in the bedroom, Rebecca's excuses, his plan. You want to pretend to be a gardener at your own house? Michael asked, eyes wide. Yes. Daniel, that's crazy. Is it? How else will I know the truth? Michael sighed. If this is what you need to do, I'll help you. But I think you should just hire someone. I need to see it myself, Daniel insisted. They spent the afternoon planning. Michael would call the house and recommend his landscaping company to Rebecca. Daniel would be the new gardener. What about clothes? Michael asked. I'll buy work clothes. I'll wear a cap, keep my head down. Rebecca never really looks at the staff anyway. That hurt to say, but it was true. Rebecca barely noticed the housekeepers, the pool cleaner, or the old gardener who had retired last month. The next day, Michael made the call. Mrs. Matthews, this is Michael Davis from Green Valley Landscaping. I heard your gardener retired. I wanted to offer our services. Oh, Rebecca said. Yes, we do need someone new. I can send someone tomorrow to evaluate the property. No charge for the consultation. That would be wonderful. Thank you. The following morning, Daniel stood outside his own gate wearing old jeans, a faded work shirt, and a dirty baseball cap. He had let his beard grow for 2 days. Dark sunglasses covered his eyes. His hands shook as he rang the bell. Green Valley Landscaping, he said into the intercom, disguising his voice slightly by speaking lower and slower than usual. The gate opened. Daniel walked up his own driveway carrying a clipboard and garden tools. Rebecca opened the front door. She wore designer jeans and a white blouse. Her hair was perfect. Her makeup was flawless. She looked right at Daniel and didn't recognize him. You're from the landscaping company? She asked. Yes, ma'am, Daniel said, keeping his head down. I'm here to evaluate the property. The previous gardener maintained everything. I'd like the same level of service. Of course, ma'am. I'll take a look around. Rebecca nodded and went back inside without another word. Daniel stood there for a moment. His own wife had looked right at him and seen nothing but hired help. He walked around the side of the house to the gardens. His gardens. The rose bushes he had helped plant, the fountain he had chosen, the stone path where he had proposed to Rebecca. Everything looked different now. Daniel spent an hour pretending to examine plants and take notes. Through the windows, he could see Rebecca talking on her phone, laughing. At noon, a car pulled up. Daniel recognized it immediately. The black Mercedes that his company provided for Rebecca's use. Marcus stepped out. He was tall, maybe 30 years old, with dark hair and an athletic build. He wore the driver's uniform, but he moved with confidence, almost arrogance. Daniel crouched behind a hedge and watched. Marcus didn't go to the front door. Instead, he walked around to the back entrance near the Kit Davis, like he had done it many times before, like he belonged there. Rebecca opened the door before Marcus could knock. She must have been watching for him. You're late, she said, but she was smiling. Traffic, Marcus replied, stepping inside. The door closed behind them. Daniel's chest felt tight. He couldn't breathe properly. He wanted to storm into his own house and confront them both, but he forced himself to stay still, to watch, to wait. 30 minutes passed. Daniel pretended to trim bushes near the Kit Davis window. He could see shadows moving inside, but he couldn't see clearly. Then he heard Rebecca laugh. That same laugh he had heard yesterday in their bedroom. The Kit Davis door opened. Marcus stepped out, adjusting his uniform shirt. Rebecca followed, touching his arm. Same time tomorrow? Marcus asked. Yes, Rebecca said. Daniel won't be back for 2 weeks. Does he suspect anything? Rebecca shook her head. He thinks we were just talking yesterday. He's clueless. They both laughed. Daniel felt something break inside his chest, not his heart, something deeper, something that couldn't be repaired. I should go, Marcus said. Mrs. Davis wants me to pick up her sister from the airport. Be careful, Rebecca said. And Marcus, thank you for making me feel alive again. Marcus kissed her cheek and walked to the car. Rebecca watched him drive away, a soft smile on her face. Daniel stood frozen behind the hedge. His wife, his driver, in his house, while he was supposed to be thousands of miles away. Rebecca finally went back inside. Daniel waited 10 minutes to make sure she wasn't coming back out. Then he walked to the front door and rang the bell. Rebecca answered, looking annoyed. Yes? I've finished the evaluation, ma'am, Daniel said. The property needs regular maintenance 3 times a week. Fine, whatever. Send me the quote. I can start tomorrow if you'd like. Rebecca shrugged. Sure. Just don't disturb me when you're working. Of course not, ma'am. She closed the door in his face. Daniel walked back to his car, parked 2 blocks away. Inside, he sat in silence for a long time. His phone rang. It was Michael. How did it go? She didn't recognize me, Daniel said quietly. Maybe that's good? For your plan, I mean. No, Michael, it's not good. My own wife looked at me and saw nothing. What are you going to do? Daniel stared at his mansion through the trees. I'm going back tomorrow, and the day after that. I need to know everything. Daniel, I need to know who I married, Michael. I need to see the real Rebecca. That night, Daniel stayed in a hotel. He couldn't sleep. He kept seeing Rebecca's smile when she looked at Marcus, the way she touched his arm, the way she laughed. They hadn't laughed together like that in months, maybe years. When did it start? How long had this been going on? Morning came slowly. Daniel put on his gardening clothes again and drove to the mansion. He parked in the street and walked up to the gate. The house looked peaceful in the early light. Birds sang in the trees. The fountain bubbled softly. This was his home, his dream house. He had worked so hard for all of this, and now it felt like a prison. Daniel rang the bell. Green Valley Landscaping, he said into the intercom. The gate opened. He walked through carrying his tools. Rebecca didn't come to the door this time. Daniel went straight to work, or pretended to. He trimmed hedges, pulled weeds, watered plants. Around 10 o'clock he heard voices. He moved closer to the house, staying hidden behind the tall bushes. Through the window he could see Rebecca in the living room. She was on the phone, pacing back and forth. No, Mother, I can't come to lunch today, she said. I'm busy. What am I busy with? Just things. Fine, I'll come next week. She ended the call and threw her phone on the couch. Then she picked it up again and sent a text message. 5 minutes later, Marcus's car pulled into the driveway. Daniel's jaw clenched. It was like watching a nightmare in slow motion. Marcus came to the front door this time. Rebecca opened it immediately, wearing a different outfit now. A red dress that Daniel had bought her for their anniversary last year. Come in quickly, she said, looking around the yard. Marcus stepped inside. Is the gardener here? Yes, but he's working in the back. He won't see anything. The door closed. Daniel felt sick. They were being careful because of him. The gardener, the invisible worker who didn't matter. He wanted to break down the door. He wanted to scream. But he stayed where he was, hidden and watching. An hour passed, then another. Daniel kept working, kept waiting. Finally, the door opened again. Marcus came out first, straightening his tie. Rebecca followed, her hair slightly messy now. Tomorrow? Marcus asked. Maybe not tomorrow, Rebecca said. Daniel's sister is coming to visit. She's staying for a few days. Daniel froze. His sister Karen? Rebecca hadn't mentioned this to him. When is he coming back? Marcus asked. Not for another week and a half, Rebecca said. Don't worry, we have time. I'm not worried, Marcus said, pulling her close. But I do get impatient. They kissed, right there on the front steps of Daniel's house, in broad daylight. Daniel gripped his gardening shears so tightly his knuckles turned white. After Marcus drove away, Rebecca went back inside. Daniel heard her humming, actually humming, happy. He finished his work mechanically, not really seeing what he was doing. When he was done, he didn't bother telling Rebecca. He just left. In his car, Daniel sat and stared at nothing. His phone rang again. Michael. Daniel, you need to stop this. You're torturing yourself. I need proof, Daniel said. For the divorce. I need to document everything. Then hire an investigator with cameras. You don't need to do this to yourself. Yes, I do, Daniel said. I need to understand. I need to know why. Why? Daniel, people cheat. There's no good reason. There has to be something, Daniel insisted. Something I did wrong. Something I missed. Or maybe, Michael said gently, she's just not the person you thought she was. That night, Daniel lay in his hotel bed staring at the ceiling. His phone buzzed with a text from Rebecca. Miss you. Can't wait until you're home. Love you. He stared at the message for a long time. Then he turned off his phone without responding. The next morning, Daniel showed up at the mansion again. This time, his sister Karen's car was in the driveway. He rang the bell. Rebecca answered, smiling warmly. Oh, the gardener. I forgot you were coming today. Should I come back another time, ma'am? No, it's fine. Just try to stay out of the way. My sister-in-law is visiting. Daniel nodded and went to work. Through the windows, he could see Karen and Rebecca sitting in the living room, drinking coffee and talking. Karen was telling a story, gesturing with her hands. Rebecca laughed, looking genuinely happy and relaxed. This was the Rebecca that Daniel knew. Warm, friendly, the perfect wife and sister-in-law. But he had seen the other Rebecca now, the one who kissed Marcus on their front steps, the one who called her husband clueless. Which one was real? Around noon, Karen left to run errands. Rebecca waved goodbye from the door, still smiling. The moment Karen's car disappeared down the street, Rebecca's smile vanished. She pulled out her phone and made a call. She's gone, Rebecca said. How fast can you get here? Daniel moved closer to the window. 30 minutes? Rebecca continued. That's too long. Karen will be back in 2 hours. Fine, hurry. She ended the call and went inside. Daniel's hands started shaking again. He knew who she had called. He knew what was about to happen, but knowing didn't make it hurt any less. True to his word, Marcus arrived in exactly 30 minutes. He practically ran from his car to the front door. Rebecca opened it before he could knock. They didn't even speak. They just grabbed each other and disappeared inside. Daniel stood behind the rose bushes, feeling like he was watching his life burn down. His phone buzzed. A text from Karen. Thanks for letting me visit Rebecca while you're away. She seems lonely without you. Daniel wanted to throw his phone. Instead, he carefully typed back, she's stronger than she looks. 45 minutes later, Marcus came out. He was tucking in his shirt and checking his watch. Rebecca followed, looking flushed and happy. You need to be more careful, she said. I am being careful, Marcus replied. Besides, your husband is on the other side of the world. What's he going to do? Fly home early? They both laughed at that. Actually laughed. Daniel felt something inside him turn to ice. The hurt was fading, replaced by cold, clear anger. Same time tomorrow? Marcus asked. Karen will be here until Friday, Rebecca said. Let's wait until she leaves. I'll miss you, Marcus said, kissing her one more time. It's only a few days, Rebecca said, and it makes it more exciting, don't you think? After Marcus left, Rebecca went back inside. Daniel finished his work and left without a word. That evening, Daniel sat in his hotel room with his laptop. He had been taking notes, documenting everything he saw, every conversation he overheard. But notes weren't enough. He needed more than his word against theirs. He called Robert, his lawyer. I need to set up cameras, Daniel said. Hidden cameras in my own house. Daniel, that might be illegal depending on where you place them. It's my house. It's also her home. You can't record in private areas like bedrooms without consent. Daniel was quiet for a moment. What about common areas? That's usually fine. Living room, Kit Davis, hallways, but check the laws carefully. I will. Can you recommend someone? I'll send you a contact. But Daniel, are you sure you want to see whatever those cameras might record? I'm already seeing it, Daniel said. I just need proof. The next day was Thursday. Daniel showed up at the mansion as usual. Karen's car was there again. Rebecca barely acknowledged him when she opened the door. Oh, you, just do your thing. Daniel nodded and went to work. But today was different. In his gardening bag, hidden beneath the tools, were 3 small cameras. While Rebecca and Karen were having lunch on the patio, Daniel moved through the house. He placed one camera in the living room, hidden in a decorative plant. Another in the hallway, disguised as a smoke detector. The third in the Kit Davis, tucked into a cabinet corner. His hands shook the whole time. What he was doing felt wrong, even though it was his own house. But he needed evidence. For the divorce. For himself. To prove he wasn't crazy. By the time Rebecca and Karen came back inside, Daniel was outside again, trimming hedges. That night, in his hotel room, Daniel opened his laptop and accessed the camera feeds. 3 windows showed different angles of his house. The living room was empty. The hallway was dark. The Kit Davis light was off. He sat and watched, waiting. For what, he wasn't sure. Around 9 o'clock, Rebecca walked through the living room in her pajamas. She was on her phone, laughing and talking. She looked happy and relaxed. No, he has no idea, she said into the phone. He's too trusting. I know. Of course I feel bad sometimes, but Marcus makes me feel young again. Daniel turned up the volume. Daniel is a good man, Rebecca continued. He really is. But he's boring, you know. He's all about work and success. When was the last time he did something spontaneous? When was the last time he made me laugh? She paused, listening. I'm not going to leave him, she said finally. Are you crazy? Do you know how much he's worth? I just need a little excitement on the side. Marcus is fun, but he has no money. I'm not stupid. Daniel felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Rebecca continued talking. Look, I married Daniel for security, that's the truth. But a girl has needs, right? I can have both, the rich husband and the exciting lover. She laughed at something the person said. No, I'm not worried about getting caught. Daniel is clueless. He trusts me completely. Even when he came home early and saw Marcus in our room, he believed me when I said nothing happened. He's that naive. Daniel closed his laptop. He couldn't listen anymore. He sat in the dark hotel room, replaying her words in his mind. Boring, clueless, naive. She married him for security. She never really loved him. 5 years of his life, 5 years of love and trust in building a future together. And it was all a lie. Daniel picked up his phone and called Michael. It's midnight, Michael said groggily. She never loved me, Daniel said. She married me for my money. Michael was silent for a moment. You heard her say that? Yes, on the camera. She told a friend that I'm boring and clueless, but she's not leaving because I'm rich. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I'm going back tomorrow, Daniel said. One more day. I need to see them together one more time. For the cameras. Why? You already have enough. Because I need to see it all, Daniel said. I need to see exactly who I married. The whole truth. This is going to destroy you. I'm already destroyed, Michael. Now I just need closure. Friday morning came. Karen had left Thursday night, so Daniel knew Rebecca would be alone. He put on his gardening clothes one last time and drove to the mansion. The gate opened as usual. He walked up the driveway, carrying his tools. Rebecca opened the door wearing a silk robe. Her hair was wet, like she had just showered. Oh, she said, looking annoyed. I forgot you were coming today. I can come back later, ma'am. No, just make it quick. I'm expecting someone. Daniel nodded and went to work. He positioned himself near the living room window, pretending to examine the bushes. 15 minutes later, Marcus's car pulled up. Marcus got out wearing casual clothes instead of his uniform, jeans and a tight black shirt that showed off his muscles. He walked to the door. Rebecca opened it before he could knock. Finally, she said, pulling him inside. Through the window, Daniel watched. The cameras were recording everything, but he couldn't look away. Rebecca and Marcus didn't even make it to the couch. They started kissing right there in the hallway, pulling at each other's clothes. Upstairs, Rebecca said, breathless. They disappeared up the stairs, to the master bedroom, to Daniel and Rebecca's bed. Daniel stood frozen, holding his gardening shears. He couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. Above him, he heard footsteps, laughter, other sounds he didn't want to identify. His wife, in their bed, with their driver, the man Daniel trusted to drive Rebecca safely around the city, the man Daniel paid every week, the man who smiled and said, "Yes, sir," and, "Of course, Mr. Matthews," while sleeping with his wife. Daniel didn't know how long he stood there. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe an hour. Time had lost all meaning. Finally, he forced himself to move. He packed up his tools mechanically, like a robot going through programmed motions. As he walked to the gate, he looked up at the bedroom window. He could see shadows moving behind the curtains. Daniel left his own home for the last time as the invisible gardener. In his car, he sat with his hands on the steering wheel. He couldn't cry. He couldn't scream. He just felt empty, hollow. His phone rang. Robert, his lawyer. "I have the evidence I need," Daniel said. "When can we file?" "Monday morning. But Daniel, are you sure?" "I'm sure. File for divorce. I want her out of my house. I want Marcus fired. I want this over." "What about the property settlement? California is a community property state." "I don't care," Daniel said. "Give her whatever the law requires. I just want my life back." But even as he said it, Daniel knew the truth. He couldn't get his life back. That life was gone. The man who trusted and loved Rebecca was gone. Everything was gone. All because he had become invisible in his own home. What will Daniel do with the evidence he's gathered? How will Rebecca react when she discovers the truth? And what will happen when Marcus realizes his comfortable life is about to end? You are about to find out now. But just to remind you again, don't forget to like and subscribe to see how this dramatic story goes. Monday morning arrived cold and gray. Daniel sat in Robert Davis's office, watching his lawyer review the evidence on his laptop. "This is extensive," Robert said quietly, scrolling through the video footage. "The conversations, the recordings, the timestamps. Rebecca won't have any defense." "Good," Daniel said. His voice sounded flat, emotionless. Robert looked at him with concern. "Daniel, when was the last time you slept?" "I don't remember." "You need to take care of yourself. This process is going to be difficult." Daniel laughed bitterly. "More difficult than watching my wife in bed with another man. More difficult than realizing my entire marriage was a lie." Robert closed the laptop. "I'm filing the papers today, but I need to know what you want. I want a divorce. I want her out." "Financially, what do you want?" Daniel rubbed his face. "Whatever the law requires. The house is mine. I owned it before the marriage. My company is mine. She can have the cars, the jewelry, whatever. I'll give her a settlement. I just want this over." "She'll probably fight for more." "Let her try," Daniel said coldly. "I have video of her admitting she married me for money. I have proof of adultery. What judge is going to side with her?" Robert nodded slowly. "When do you want her served?" "Today. This afternoon. I want to be there when it happens." "Are you sure that's wise?" Daniel stood up. "I've been invisible for too long, Robert. It's time for Rebecca to see me clearly." That afternoon, Daniel drove to the mansion. He didn't disguise himself this time. He wore his usual business suit, his expensive watch, his wedding ring still on his finger. The gate opened when he pressed his code. He drove up the familiar driveway and parked near the front door. His hands shook slightly as he got out of the car. This was still his home, but it didn't feel like home anymore. He used his key to open the front door. Inside, everything looked perfect, as always. The flowers were fresh, the marble gleamed, the expensive artwork hung on the walls. All of it felt meaningless now. "Rebecca?" he called out. No answer. Daniel walked through the downstairs. Empty. He climbed the stairs to the master bedroom. The door was closed. He opened it without knocking. Rebecca stood at the closet in her underwear, going through clothes. She screamed and grabbed a robe. Daniel! Oh my God, you scared me. I thought you weren't coming back until Thursday. Change of plans, Daniel said calmly. Rebecca tied her robe and smiled nervously. Well, welcome home. I missed you so much. She walked toward him for a hug. Daniel stepped back. Don't. Her smile faded. What's wrong? Everything, Daniel said. Absolutely everything. Before Rebecca could respond, the doorbell rang. Are you expecting someone? Daniel asked. No, maybe it's a delivery. I'll get it, Daniel said, turning to leave. Daniel, wait. Can we talk? You seem upset. Oh, we'll talk, Daniel said. Very soon. He went downstairs and opened the front door. A man in a suit stood there holding an envelope. Rebecca Matthews? The man asked. She's upstairs, I'll take it. The man hesitated. I'm supposed to deliver it personally. I'm her husband. I'll make sure she gets it. The process server reluctantly handed over the envelope and left. Daniel looked at the envelope. Divorce papers. The end of his marriage, contained in a legal document. Rebecca came downstairs now, dressed in jeans and a sweater. Who was that? Daniel handed her the envelope without a word. She looked confused. What is this? Open it. Rebecca tore open the envelope and pulled out the papers. Her eyes scanned the first page. Her face went white. Petition for dissolution of marriage, she read aloud. Then she looked up at Daniel. This is a joke, right? Do I look like I'm joking? Daniel, what is this? What's happening? I'm divorcing you, Rebecca. She laughed nervously. Because of Marcus? Daniel, I told you nothing happened. We were just talking. You can't divorce me over a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, Daniel said quietly. And it wasn't just talking. Yes, it was. Daniel, please, you're overreacting. Am I? Daniel pulled out his phone and opened the video app. Then explain this. He pressed play. On the screen, Rebecca and Marcus appeared, kissing in the hallway of this very house. Rebecca's face went from white to red. You recorded me? How did you? Where did you? Daniel swiped to another video. This one showed Rebecca on the phone saying, I married Daniel for security. Marcus is fun, but he has no money. I can have both. Rebecca stumbled backward and sat down hard on the stairs. You bugged the house. My house, Daniel corrected, and yes, I did. After I saw you with Marcus in our bedroom, I needed to know the truth. You had no right. I had every right. Daniel's voice finally rose. You were sleeping with our driver in my house, in my bed, while I was working to provide for you. Daniel, please, I can explain. Explain what? How you married me for money? How I'm boring and clueless? How you planned to keep me as the rich husband while Marcus was your exciting lover? Tears streamed down Rebecca's face. You weren't supposed to find out. That's your defense? I wasn't supposed to find out? I didn't mean for this to happen, Rebecca sobbed. It just did. You're never here, Daniel. You're always working. I got lonely. So you found comfort in our employee. Very convenient. It's not like that. Marcus understands me. He listens to me. He's using you, Daniel said, just like you used me. I love you, Rebecca said desperately. I really do love you. Daniel laughed coldly. You love my money. You admitted it on camera. That's not true. I mean, yes, I said those things, but I was angry. I didn't mean them. You sounded pretty certain to me. Rebecca stood up and walked toward him. Daniel, please. We can fix this. I'll end things with Marcus. I'll do anything. Just don't leave me. Don't leave you? Daniel stared at her in disbelief. You left me the moment you decided I wasn't enough. The moment you brought another man into our marriage. It was a mistake. Please, Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The doorbell rang again. Daniel walked around Rebecca and opened it. Marcus stood there in his driver's uniform. Good afternoon, Mr. Matthews. I didn't expect you back until... He stopped, seeing Daniel's face. Is something wrong? Come in, Marcus, Daniel said coldly. Sir? Come in. Marcus stepped inside nervously. He saw Rebecca crying on the stairs. "Mrs. Matthews, are you okay?" "Tell him, Rebecca," Daniel said. "Tell Marcus what just happened." Rebecca couldn't speak. She just shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "Fine, I'll tell him," Daniel said. He turned to Marcus. "I'm divorcing my wife because she's been having an affair with you." Marcus's face went pale. "Sir, I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me," Daniel shouted. "I have videos, Marcus. I have recordings. I have everything." Marcus looked at Rebecca, then back at Daniel. "Mr. Matthews, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It wasn't supposed to happen. She came on to me. I tried to resist, but..." "But what?" Daniel interrupted. "But you decided to sleep with your boss's wife anyway?" "I never meant to disrespect you, sir." "You never meant to get caught," Daniel corrected. "There's a difference." Marcus looked down at his feet. "What are you going to do?" "What do you think?" Daniel asked. "You're fired, effective immediately. Security will escort you off all company properties. If you come near my wife, sorry, my soon-to-be ex-wife, again, I'll have you arrested for trespassing." "Mr. Matthews, please, I need this job. I have bills, I have..." "You should have thought about that before you slept with my wife," Daniel said. "Get out of my house." Marcus looked at Rebecca one more time. She wouldn't meet his eyes. "Rebecca," Marcus said softly. "Leave," she whispered. "Just leave." Marcus walked out. The door closed behind him with a final click. Daniel and Rebecca stood in silence. The house felt enormous and empty. "So that's it?" Rebecca finally said. "You're just going to throw away 5 years of marriage?" "You threw it away," Daniel replied, "the moment you betrayed me." "People make mistakes, Daniel. Couples work through infidelity all the time." "Maybe they do. But those couples actually loved each other. You admitted you married me for security. How do I work through that?" Rebecca wiped her eyes. "I did love you. I do love you. Maybe not in the beginning, but over time." "Don't," Daniel interrupted. "Just don't. I don't believe you anymore. I don't trust you. I don't even know you." "You're being so cold," Rebecca said. "I spent a week disguised as a gardener at my own house," Daniel said quietly. "I watched you with him. I heard every word you said, every laugh, every touch, every lie. You want to talk about cold? You looked at me, your own husband, and didn't recognize me because you never really saw me. I was just a wallet to you." Rebecca opened her mouth, then closed it again. "The divorce papers explain everything," Daniel continued. "You have 30 days to respond. My lawyer will contact yours. I suggest you hire someone good." "What about the house? What about my things?" "You can stay here for 2 more weeks. That gives you time to find a place. After that, I'm changing the locks." 2 weeks? Daniel, that's not enough time. "It's more than generous considering what you did." "What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go?" "Call Marcus," Daniel said. "Maybe he'll take you in." Rebecca's face hardened. "You're really going to be this cruel?" "Cruel?" Daniel almost laughed. "You want to see cruel? I could post those videos online. I could send them to your family, your friends. I could make sure everyone knows exactly who you are." "You wouldn't." "No, I wouldn't," Daniel admitted, "because I'm not like you. I actually have a conscience." He turned to leave, then stopped. "One more thing. Karen called me yesterday. She said you seemed lonely while I was gone. She felt bad for you." Rebecca said nothing. "My sister felt sorry for you," Daniel continued. "While you were in bed with Marcus, she was worried about you being alone. That's the kind of person Karen is. She cares about people. You only care about yourself." Daniel walked to the door. "Daniel, wait," Rebecca called. "Please, can we just talk about this?" "We just did," Daniel said. "Goodbye, Rebecca." He walked out of his mansion and didn't look back. In his car, Daniel sat for a moment. His hands gripped the steering wheel. His chest felt tight. He had done it. He had confronted her. It was over. But he didn't feel relieved. He didn't feel victorious. He just felt empty. His phone rang. "Michael, did you do it?" "Yes," Daniel said. "She's been served. Marcus has been fired. It's done." "How do you feel?" "I don't know. Numb, I guess." "That's normal. Where are you now?" Sitting in my car outside the house. Come stay with me tonight, Michael said. You shouldn't be alone. Maybe tomorrow. Tonight I just need to think. Daniel. I'll be fine, Michael. I promise. He ended the call and drove to his hotel. The room was quiet and sterile. Nothing like home. But then again, he didn't have a home anymore. Daniel ordered room service but couldn't eat. He turned on the TV but couldn't focus. Finally, he just lay on the bed staring at the ceiling. His phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. I know you hate me right now. I know I deserve it. But please believe me when I say I never wanted to hurt you. I made terrible choices. I was selfish and stupid. But somewhere in all of this mess, I did develop real feelings for you. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry. Daniel read the message 3 times. Then he deleted it without responding. Another message came through, this time from an unknown number. Mr. Matthews, this is Marcus. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need you to know something. Rebecca pursued me. She made it clear what she wanted. I should have said no. I should have quit, but I didn't. That's on me. But don't think this was all my idea. She's not the innocent victim she's pretending to be. Daniel stared at that message. Was Marcus telling the truth? Or was he just trying to deflect blame? It didn't matter. Both of them had betrayed him. Both of them had lied to his face while sleeping together behind his back. He deleted that message too. The next morning, Daniel went to his office for the first time in weeks. His assistant Julia looked surprised. Mr. Matthews, I thought you were still in Singapore. Change of plans, Daniel said. Is everything running smoothly? Yes, sir. The Parker deal closed yesterday. The numbers look good. Good. Send me the reports. I have some catching up to do. Daniel buried himself in work. Meetings, calls, emails, spreadsheets, anything to keep his mind occupied. But around noon, Julia buzzed his intercom. Mr. Matthews, there's a woman here to see you. She says it's urgent. Who is it? Rebecca Matthews. Daniel's jaw clenched. Tell her I'm not available. She says she'll wait. Tell her I'm not available today, tomorrow, or any day. She needs to contact my lawyer. Yes, sir. 10 minutes later, Julia buzzed again. I'm sorry, sir. She's refusing to leave. She's crying in the lobby. Security is asking what you want them to do. Daniel stood up and grabbed his jacket. He walked to the lobby himself. Rebecca sat in one of the chairs, mascara running down her face. Other employees were staring. Rebecca, Daniel said quietly, you need to leave. I just want 5 minutes, she pleaded. Please, Daniel, just 5 minutes. No, go home. That's not my home anymore. You're kicking me out. You have 2 weeks. That's what we agreed. Agreed? You dictated. I had no choice. Daniel stepped closer and lowered his voice. You're making a scene. You're embarrassing yourself and me. Leave now or I'll have security escort you out. You used to love me, Rebecca sobbed. What happened to that man? He woke up, Daniel said, and saw who you really are. He turned and walked back to his office, leaving Rebecca crying in the lobby. That evening, Daniel's phone rang constantly. Rebecca, calling over and over. He blocked her number. Then his house phone rang. He didn't have a house phone at the hotel, so it must be someone calling the mansion. Maybe Rebecca, trying to reach him that way. He ignored it. But the next morning, Michael showed up at his office. We need to talk, Michael said, closing the door. About what? Rebecca came to see me last night. Daniel looked up sharply. She did what? She showed up at my house, crying, begging me to talk to you. What did you tell her? I told her to respect your space and contact your lawyer, Michael said. But Daniel, she's falling apart. I've never seen anyone so destroyed. Good, Daniel said coldly. Now she knows how I feel. I'm not defending what she did, Michael said carefully, but I think she genuinely regrets it. Regrets getting caught, you mean? Maybe. Or maybe she regrets losing you. Daniel shook his head. I don't care. She made her choice. Now she lives with the consequences. Just be careful, Michael warned. Desperate people do desperate things. That night, Daniel returned to the hotel to find Rebecca sitting in the hallway outside his room. "How did you find me?" he demanded. "I hired someone to follow you," she admitted. "Please, Daniel, I just need to talk to you." "No, I'm not leaving until you listen to me. Then I'll call the police and have you arrested for trespassing." Rebecca stood up. "I lost my husband, my home, my life. What else can you take from me?" "Your dignity, apparently," Daniel said, "since you're willing to stalk me at a hotel." "I love you." "No, you don't," Daniel finally shouted. "You love what I gave you, the mansion, the cars, the lifestyle. You love the idea of me, not the real me, because if you loved me, you never would have done what you did." Rebecca reached for him. "That's not true." Daniel stepped back. "Don't touch me. Don't call me. Don't come to my office or my hotel. We're done, Rebecca. Accept it and move on." He pushed past her, unlocked his room, and went inside. He locked the door and leaned against it. Outside, he heard Rebecca crying, then footsteps, then silence. Daniel slid down to the floor and put his head in his hands. He was exhausted, emotionally, physically, mentally drained. How had his life become this nightmare? The next few days passed in a blur. Daniel worked, slept, and tried to pretend everything was normal. Robert called with updates on the divorce. Rebecca's lawyer is pushing back on the settlement. They want half of everything. On what grounds? They're claiming the videos were obtained illegally. They want them thrown out. Can they do that? Probably not. You recorded in common areas of your own home. And Rebecca's admission about marrying you for money is pretty damning. But they're going to fight. "Let them," Daniel said. "I have time and money. How much does she have?" "That's actually another issue," Robert said. "She's asking for temporary spousal support while the divorce is pending." "Absolutely not. Daniel, she has no income. You've frozen her credit cards. She has no access to your accounts. How is she supposed to live?" "She can get a job like everyone else." "The judge might see it differently." Daniel sighed. "Fine. Give her $5,000 a month. That's more than generous. I'll present the offer." After the call, Daniel sat in his office staring out the window. Below, the city bustled with life. People going about their normal days, unaware of his private nightmare. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "This is Marcus again. I know you blocked my other number. I need you to know Rebecca is telling people I seduced her. She's playing the victim. Don't believe her lies. I have text messages from her proving she started this. If you want them, let me know." Daniel stared at the message. Marcus had evidence against Rebecca. He typed back, "Send them." A minute later, screenshots started coming through. Text messages between Rebecca and Marcus going back 6 months. Rebecca: "My husband is so boring. I need some excitement in my life." Marcus: "I can't. I work for him." Rebecca: "That makes it more fun, don't you think?" More messages, flirtation, plans, meeting times, and explicit photos that Daniel deleted immediately without looking closely. All of it proved one thing. Rebecca had pursued Marcus aggressively. She had initiated everything. But Daniel didn't feel vindicated. He just felt sick. Both of them had betrayed him. Both of them were terrible people. The fact that Rebecca had started it didn't make Marcus less guilty. He forwarded the messages to Robert with a simple note. More evidence for the divorce. That weekend, Daniel finally went back to the mansion. It was Sunday, and he knew Rebecca was supposed to move out by Tuesday. He needed to get some of his things: clothes, documents, personal items. The gate code still worked. He drove up and parked. The house looked quiet. He used his key and went inside. "Rebecca?" he called. No answer. The house felt empty. Daniel walked through the rooms slowly. Everything looked the same, but it all felt different now. In the living room, he noticed the decorative plant where he had hidden one of the cameras. He went over and retrieved it, along with the others from the hallway and Kit Davis. Then he went upstairs to the master bedroom. The door was open. Rebecca sat on the floor, surrounded by boxes, crying softly. "Daniel," she said, looking up. Her eyes were red and swollen. Her hair was messy. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "I'm just getting some of my things," he said. "This is really happening," she said quietly. "You're really leaving me." "You left me first, Rebecca, months ago. I'm just making it official." She wiped her eyes. "I packed your things. They're in the guest room. I thought it would be easier." "Thank you." "I'm moving in with my mother," she said, "in case you were wondering." Daniel nodded. He wasn't sure what to say. "She's very disappointed in me," Rebecca continued. "Everyone is. My friends won't return my calls. Your family won't talk to me. Even Marcus has disappeared. What did you expect?" "I don't know," she said. "Maybe a little compassion, a little understanding that people make mistakes." "You didn't make a mistake," Daniel said. "You made a choice, multiple choices, over months." Rebecca stood up. "I know you hate me. I know I destroyed everything. But can I ask you one question?" "What?" "Did you love me? In the beginning, when we first got married? Did you actually love me?" Daniel looked at her, at the woman he had promised to spend his life with. "Yes," he said honestly. "I loved you completely. I would have done anything for you. And now? Now I don't even know you." Rebecca nodded slowly, fresh tears streaming down her face. "That's what I thought." Daniel went to the guest room and found his things neatly packed in suitcases. Despite everything, Rebecca had taken care with his belongings. He carried them downstairs. Rebecca followed at a distance. At the door, Daniel paused. "Rebecca?" "Yes." "I hope you find whatever you were looking for, whatever I couldn't give you." "All I wanted was for you to see me," she said softly. "Really see me. Not just as the pretty wife, but as a real person." Daniel looked at her for a long moment. "I saw you, Rebecca. I just didn't see the person you actually were until it was too late." He walked out to his car, loaded his things, and drove away. In his rearview mirror, he could see Rebecca standing in the doorway of the mansion, getting smaller and smaller, until she disappeared completely.